Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous Tea. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous Tea Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous Tea Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram is at Anonymous Reality Tea. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we are talking Love Island. I promise y'all I will get out to y'all later today my reaction to the finale or lack thereof. There's so much going on, you guys, right now because the final Islanders have touched down from Fiji and are going to be in LA for the week. And there's a lot of chaos. There is a lot of chaos. I don't know if y'all have tuned into my last video about HUDA has not changed. She has not learned her lesson. She has effectively adopted herself as Nicolandria's daughter. So those of you who are Nicolandria fans that were looking to get Nicolandria content, that were looking to get Nick and Alandria by themselves, no. HUDA is glued to them. She is on them like white on rice, so it's not going to happen. But in this video, we need to discuss another interview, you guys. Another interview, and there's a lot that is going on. So Taylor was on the Nick Viall show, the Valley Files, however you say his name. I don't know. I just feel like his behavior is vile and is anti-black, and I'm just over it because he previously, I believe it was on Jeremiah's podcast episode, called Alandria and Shelley leftovers. And then on this episode is basically trying to call Alandria and Shelley fake and that they weren't their authentic selves, but that Iris was the one who gave it all, who was the one who did it all. No. And this is my problem. He has these preconceived notions about black people, and in particularly black women. And I find it horrendous. I find it disgusting. I find it deplorable. It's one thing if you are giving constructive criticism and saying, hey, I didn't like how this happened or this particular situation played out is one thing, but you are purposefully just labeling Shelley and Alandria as negative stereotypes, as negative things, and it's like, what are we doing? Shelley was the hot commodity in the villa. There was like 6 men after her. You know what I'm saying? And Alandria, her and Nick, all of the Nick Alandria content is over 2 billion views on TikTok. Nicolas is live yesterday, has almost 1 million views, you guys. So there is a demand, there is an interest out here for these Black Islanders. Like I'm gonna need y'all to keep it a buck. And what the gag was that Ace had called in to Taylor in the midst of this podcast interview. And it was funny because Nick and his team immediately switched up. Oh my gosh, it's Ace. Tell Ace how we're doing, this and that, because I think Ace tried to FaceTime him. And it's like, no. So you drag Ace in all these interviews. You call him the ringleader, the master manipulator, that Taylor and Nick are just Ace's minions, and that they don't have a brain for themselves. They can't think for themselves. They can't function for themselves. They can't go to the toilet without Ace telling them to do so. And then the moment Ace calls in on FaceTime, you all of a sudden are a fan. No. See, this is why Ace is not answering y'all calls. This is why Ace is not going to go on the... I hope Ace and Shelley's family kept it a bean with them, kept it a buck with them, and let them know all of these podcasts, like Chicks in the Office, like the Viall Files, like all of them were on some BS. They need to stick to the Black podcast. They need to stick to Keke Palmer, Jesse Wu, like anybody that's blackity black that is going to do these interviews and stay away from Call Me Daddy. Stay away from the Nick Viall files. Stay away from Chicks in the Office, because it is nothing but a setup. And I see, apparently, allegedly, Nicolas is going to be in Chicks in the Office. And Nicolas, I don't think, knows that the Chicks in the Office was throwing shade at Alandria and was calling Nick Alandria phony baloney, you guys. No. So the meat and potatoes of what I want to talk about in this video is Taylor has given a different account as what is taking place as it regards to Jeremiah's eviction. And we need to talk about it, you guys, because this is a different perspective. Now, I want to say this. I feel the reunion, it's going to be a huge injustice if they do not show what actually happened in that deliberation. If they do not show the deliberation for what happened Jeremiah's, elimination, then they can just keep it. But I always stood on the fact that if Ace truly was the one that led the charge for Jeremiah's elimination, we would have saw it. Because they have no problem showing Ace trying to be, follow the leader and do as I say any other time. They have no problem getting in his messy comments or him trying to run the villa like it is Big Brother or like it's the Traitors, because that's what y'all said. Y'all said that Ace was the mastermind and that he ran everything like it was a tight ship and everything else. But you got Taylor coming out in interviews. You got Nick coming out on social media saying, no, we made our own decisions. We made our own decisions. Now, I will say this, for all of these eliminations that were decided upon the Islanders, everyone eventually has to be unanimous. It eventually has to be a unanimous vote. But what Taylor said in this interview was that what happened with Jeremiah, the reason that they wanted to get rid of Jeremiah, they said that Austin was at least exploring multiple times, which to me, he should have been dumped. They said that Pepe and Hannah had a strong connection. So that tells me they were not trying to dump a strong connection, and they had no clue, obviously, that the girls were going to dump Hannah. Then he said, as far as Jeremiah goes, he said, people think Ace led the charge, but all of us, we're in on this, right? All of us did this. It wasn't just Ace told us to get rid of Jeremiah and we acquiesced. No. We all gave input. Me and Nick led the charge with the arguments. So what Taylor is alleging? Taylor is alleging that Jeremiah treated Adrina, basically told the guys that nobody else was allowed to talk to her. He was the only person that was allowed to speak to her. Alleged that when they were in the kitchen area cooking, that there were other men around Adrina and Jeremiah was pacing back and forth. This is giving reminiscent of how HUDA conducted herself around any female bombshell that was interested in Jeremiah. And apparently, allegedly, was doing all this pacing back and forth like he was some drill sergeant and wanted to monitor what the conversations were that was happening with Adrina. And I guess Adrina allegedly confided in Taylor that Jeremiah was suffocating her and that this allegedly was too much space. Allegedly, you guys. Now, here's my thing. I feel like ultimately, until we get to the reunion, which I feel a certain way about this reunion because I feel like it's going to be watered down. I understand messy Andy Cohen is going to be the host, but I feel like if what the setup is right now with all these Islanders embracing HUDA, I feel like we can keep the reunion. Because if it is going to be a situation where the black people are all the villains and the black people are all to blame for everything that went wrong with HUDA and everything that went wrong with Jeremiah, can we just keep the reunion? Can we just keep it? For what, right? So I feel like until we see that deliberation footage of who actually was leading those conversations about Jeremiah's elimination, it's going to be a matter of who you believe. And if you still believe, even after this, that Ace was the sole leader in getting rid of everybody, then that's what you're going to believe. But it is weird that if Jeremiah is isolating these women to where nobody else is allowed to talk or interact with them, I could see why they would want him out of the villa. Now, I have been, 10 toes down that Jeremiah was the best looking man in this villa, and also the fact that he shouldn't have been eliminated. However, if it is true that he had no intentions of exploring connections and was blocking people from talking to Adrina, and that it was a problem, and we know that Nicolas was interested in Adrina at the time, and Pepe had some interest initially in Adrina at the time, then that's not a good look. That is not a good look. You can't mark people and say, this is mine, nobody else is allowed to touch them, and y'all are all on a dating show where the design of the dating show is supposed to be talking to everybody to find your best connection. Now, the reason why I never felt that Ace was the quote-unquote ringleader was because I always felt as though he was too far gone off of Shelly. He was already too far gone off of Shelly at this point. He was already crashing out over Shelly, just over her being in a couple with Austin and that whole triangle and everything else, and them being split up at the start when Yelisa picked Ace and everything else. Like, I feel like at this point, even though Ace still was talking to Bombshells, I feel like at this point he was too far gone off of Shelly. So I felt like him wanting Jeremiah gone, like there was no love lost to begin with as far as Ace and Jeremiah goes, but I don't feel like he necessarily led the charge. I feel like the charge was led by Taylor and Nick, more so than anything, especially if Adrina is the one that is confiding in Taylor about her concerns about Jeremiah and allegedly saying later on that they made the right decision for Jeremiah to go so that she could explore other connections. Allegedly. And then that also gives the clip at the Stand on Business challenge in which Adrina said that, Jeremiah was doing the love bombing. But then she tried to come out of the villa and clean that up. So I don't know if we're ever going to get to the full truth unless they roll the tapes and let us see the deliberation in its entirety. But I feel like this reunion is not going to give what it needs to, because I don't feel like people are really going to be standing on business. And I feel like it's going to be about the black people being the villains if they do stand on business. And it's just going to garner more hate. It's going to garner more hate. It's going to garner more racism. It's going to garner more threats. So what is going to be the end game here? So there is that. That is it. That is all for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.